Hey, I'm Diego.
You are now online, Diego. All right, let's keep going. By the way, I'm not going to call on you guys by names at this point because you don't want your name there. So let's talk about trade-offs and what they are in economics. So basically, trade-offs happen when choices have to be made. That's the big thing. Trade-offs happen when choices have to be made. When you choose one thing over another. And you've probably been in this situation before. There's an event going on here. That's the Club Aqua. That's downtown, I guess. Maybe it's still open. I don't even know. So let's say there's a big event going on a Saturday night, but you also have a huge econ test coming up. So you have to make a decision. Are you going to study for your test, or are you going out? So basically, whichever one you choose to do, that's your decision. And the one you decide not to do would be your trade-off. Now, trade-offs can happen individually. Trade-offs can also happen at a large level. Businesses have to make trade-offs all the time. Apple, for example, has to make a decision, are laptops still worth it? Because for every laptop they make, they're probably not making a tablet device like an iPad. Or even the computers we used to have in our desks that are kind of going away right now, and I think eventually they're just going to be, they're almost completely gone right now, right? Mm-hmm. Like a desk computer that you actually have the computer and the monitor and have to plug it in, those are almost dead, right? So that's a trade-off. If we're not going to have those, we're going to trade off and get something else. So that's a decision companies have to make. Governments have to make trade-offs. The United States does have a limited budget. So we have a big budget. We have like a $17, $18 trillion budget, but it's still not infinity. We have to make trade-offs. When things go on, like in the news right now in Iraq, which is crazy about the reporters who've been dying, the United States has to make a trade-off. Is it worthwhile to send American troops into Iraq and Syria? If we do that, it's pretty expensive. Maybe we're trading off things we could do at home. But then we have to look at what is the best answer to do. And it's always difficult, so whatever decision you make, there's always going to be a trade-off. Whatever decision you make, there will always be trade-offs. Many of you are making a trade-off right now. You're choosing not to work fast food jobs, and instead, you're putting your time into school to try to get a better job in the future. So let's do something real quick here. I'm actually going to, is it recording or not? Kind of the technology. All right, so let's take a look at a trade-off. So in your notebook right now, underneath where I was talking, let's say you're going out this Friday night. So Friday night, you're going to go out. Do this on your own, actually, at first. Make a list of the 5 things you could do this Friday night. So that'd be like tomorrow. Make a list of the 5 things that you could do. Again, these are things that maybe you have to do or things that you want to do. All of them qualify in this. All right, and we're back live. All right. So again, opportunity cost here real quick. Let me give you a couple more examples as we move on. I want to make sure we have this down 100%. Your book talked about the guns or butter dilemma. Guns and butter, what do they mean by guns and butter? Does anyone think they kind of can explain this a bit? They can stand up and they can kind of explain what this guns and butter thing means? Let's go, let Yamu. Why don't you go ahead, stand up, and tell us about guns and butter.
So, like, for example, the government has to choose to spend the money on either guns or butter. Guns mean, like, military goods, or butter means civilian goods. Civilian goods. And if you choose guns, that means their your lifestyle goods go down, but if you choose butter, that means your military goods go down.
That's a pretty good explanation. Good work. Pablo, do you have anything to add? Huh? Anybody else anything to add to that? So, I'm actually going to just say a lot of what you just said and kind of repeat a few things. That was a really good explanation of it. Pretty much governments have a choice they have to make. It's called the guns and butter. There's trade-offs. If we decide to go for protection is the term I would use. That could be military, could be police, defense it'll often be called. That's not free. That often will take from the things that we call the butter, which would be like programs that help people get food, possibly investing in farming, possibly investing in education, those kind of things. So it's kind of like food which can feed your stomach or protecting yourself is the basic argument. So governments have to make these decisions all the time. The United States government, even with our 17-some trillion dollar budget, still has to make a decision, where do we spend our money? How much money do we spend on guns? How much money do we spend on military, police, which are necessities? How much money do we spend on the butter, which are could be like social programs to help people? Could be how much do we spend on money investing in farmers, people who grow food, and those kind of, any kind of product or program that goes with that. So that's the guns and butter. And your opportunity cost would be your next best option. So sometimes it's the guns, is the choice, sometimes it's the butter, and whatever you're giving up is your opportunity cost. So you can't, there's no free lunch. We use that term over and over again, there's no free lunch. Whatever your government spends money on, they're going to be giving up something else. Ramsey, what do you got?
Can you explain that picture to me, please?
This one right here?
Yes.
Okay, I will. Let's say you're this girl, and you have to decide. Do you see where I'm going with this?
Yeah.
All right. So let's say you're this girl, and it's Friday night, and you get 3 phone calls, or text messages, or tweets, or whatever you kids do. Anyway, so let's say you get 3 phone calls on a Friday night from these 3 gentlemen. You see where I'm going with this again? So, well, whoever you choose is your choice. If that person said, you know what, I called you, I said I wanted to go out, but I'm sorry, my grandma just died. I'm giving you a pretty extreme example. But if like that would happen, then you would have your next best option. That's your opportunity cost. And then the other person is a trade-off. Both people you don't choose are your trade-offs. Your next best option is your opportunity cost. Just real quick here, we can take a vote here, girls, if you want. So should we take a vote on which one here? So we is our choice right here. Do we have how many votes?
The black guy.
How many votes right here?
Me.
He usually wins. Okay, how many votes here? So I guess we're going to tie for second. I guess this guy wins, so he's the choice. Opportunity cost is whatever you're giving up. No, if you choose to date, no. And we can make light of this, but if you choose to date someone, it means you're not dating anyone else. It is a choice. So even in relationships and dating, there is
Monogamy?
I was going to say economics and opportunity cost, but yeah. All right, let's keep on rolling. All right, we kind of did this one already, so we've already gone through this. So I'm just going to get you to video, and I like this one. It explains opportunity cost pretty well.